All right. Well, thanks again for joining Boberdoo on today's product demonstration of our lead and call distribution system. So a couple housekeeping items before we get started. I'm going to be muting the attendees just so the call quality stays good. But if you do have questions as we're going through it, feel free to Skype them across the instant message. Tyler from our office is going to be collecting those, and then we'll cover them after I get through the walkthrough. So we're going to cover things at a fairly high level. As the old saying goes, you can please some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but not all of the people all the time. So there may be instances that are not applicable for your company or don't go into as much depth. My goal here is to provide you with a framework so that we can jump on more specific scenario-based demonstrations later on with that baseline established, and we can get into specifically how it's going to help your business. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in here and to look at today's agenda. So the first things we're going to cover are defining the marketing activity that you're bringing to the Boberdoo system. Then we'll look at tracking and segmenting those incoming leads. Then we'll take a look at the routing logic and distribution to the buyers called partners in this demo system. Then we'll look at the leads tab and exploring the tools available for that, reporting, some of the other user logins that are available, and then some bells and whistles that we can check out at the end. So to begin with, we're going to go to the cost what, which is our internal testing and demo system. We're currently at an admin login, and you'll notice the cost what logo is in the upper left-hand side. Your company's logo would replace that cost what logo, and then we're going to go into the admin. Just a note, we have unlimited logins with the distribution system for lead sellers, for lead buyers, for sales reps, people that sell leads for you, and then varying levels of permissions for administrators so that you can display only that relevant information to the appropriate party. So you're going to log in as a super admin. First thing you'll take note is that you're taken to a typical dashboard. So it's going to give you a high-level view of what's going on in your system. So you'll see not a whole lot of high volume here in this particular lead type, but it is our testing and demo system. So this can be customized through the Manage dashboard. Some other tools to note, we have calendars. We run a ticketing system for you to communicate both internally with your team members as well as submit support tickets and custom tickets to Boberdoo to work on. There are custom themes available. And so we have these defaults here, billing more so that you can further differentiate your system and the look and feel. So again, to point number one in the demo is what marketing activity are you bringing into the system? So that is going to take us to settings and lead types. And so you'll see a big list of a lot of different lead types that we've built over the years in our demo system. So one of the important points is that you define the fields that make up a given lead type. We build that and place it into your system. So you have the ability to determine what fields you want to be optional, what fields are required, and what fields you want to be able to make a business decision on. And then the system, as we're all here, goes beyond just the web lead routing and also can route inbound calls through a Boberdoo number. And then really that can be expanded into, that process can be expanded into even something like charging on a CPC or per click basis. So those things can be built specifically for your system as you define them. Let's just bear with me here real quick. All right. So if we take a look in our demo lead type, something we're going to use for today, we will see posting specifications. So one of the most flexible ways to get leads into the system is through a simple get or post. You can provide this link to third-party affiliates so that they can build the host and post into your system. You can give that to your front-end web developers or any other parties that you're working with. And this will define exactly what fields you're collecting for the given lead type, those fields that are optional, required, and then those set allowed values. We'll also include a short and long response. One of the key things about the boberdoo system is that every lead submitted into the system sees a response, be it matched, meaning it was sold, unmatched, meaning that it was a valid lead that just had no buyers, or an error message. And if there is an error message, it tells the submitter why the lead failed. So that allows for very easy troubleshooting when you're setting up new lead sellers and third-party affiliates. So while that's one way to get leads into the system, for those people doing their own marketing, we also have a form builder, form manager. So you can build out specific forms on a lead type by lead type basis. And so you'll see I have several of them set up in here, and we'll just take a look at one at a fairly high level. So one of the benefits is that any place that has this little website code on the upper right, and that can be placed just by copy and paste or through our WordPress plugin, it will display the form from your boberdoo system, allowing you to control the back-end actions, layout, and field configurations from your boberdoo system, and then push it to any place that has that code. So, for example, you'll see things like mobile optimization, so you can display mobile-specific settings. You can control the confirmation page, so you can display specific text. You can redirect the iframe. You can redirect the user entirely to a new window. So this is a good opportunity for those clients or prospects of ours that are in one specific vertical to break into a new vertical and test the water, so to speak, through cross-offer opportunities. Things like advanced settings, alternative submit buttons, agree to terms that you can enable and use, put your terms or where the lead is agreeing to, and force them to check that before they submit. Some of the other options with the form builder that we go into a little bit less detail is form field configuration. So you can change how the fields, the drop-down lists that are available on a form-by-form basis without wrecking your entire lead type and all the integrations that you may have already set up. And then finally, you have the form builder allowing you to customize the layout. So you can do things like toggle align, you can add horizontal sections. For longer fields forms, you can add page splits. And again, as you customize this layout and save it, it will automatically get pushed to any place that has that website code. And then the final thing for the form builder is that there is a CSS editor as well. So you can build various templates, CSS templates, and then apply them to the different forms so that you're going to match the exact look and feel of your existing website with the form itself. So once the form is built, very similar to affiliate management systems, we offer web campaigns. So this is going to allow you to essentially build an offer, push that to your vendors' logins, or download the creatives and send them as well. So you'll see here we have different types of campaigns. If we go into just one that we have set up, this is where you're going to determine the assets that are associated with this offer. So you can determine the type of campaign. So this both in terms of what is recorded in their vendor login, as well as when the pixel is fired from the system. So you can pay on all leads, or you can pay only on sold leads. You can do revenue splits with a vendor. And then we also offer buckets, which would allow you to determine an amount of revenue that needs to be earned before one pixel is fired. You can then associate those offers to the various vendors, which are your lead sellers, and push this opt-out information to their login as well. So then you can go on and assign their pixels in the campaign. So in here, you can place their pixel settings. You can determine whether it is fired on a manual review or if the lead fails our internal quality control check, which is lead QC. We'll cover in a second. And then, of course, the creatives that you can also push so that they can download and build the offer for their marketing. So once the web campaigns are set up, those will be the different ways to get web leads into the system. But as we mentioned earlier, you can route incoming calls with some of the same flexibility and business rules as the web leads. So very similar to setting up a web campaign, we have a phone routing tab that allows you to build your own phone campaigns and then control the actions when it called in from that specific phone number. So we have a self-ordering system built in, meaning that you can come here, order numbers, assign defaults. You can do things like enable a caller ID check or enable duplicity checks, which will allow you to, for those people that are doing calls and have an issue with the same lead calling in multiple times and having to do a reconciliation at the end of the reporting period, the duplicity check will recognize that it is the same lead and route that back to the original call buyer as a continuation of the original call as opposed to dealing with it as a new lead or call. So again, you can create and manage your own web campaigns. If we go into one that we already have set up, you'll see default numbers where the call would go should no buyers be available. Some of those checks that we discussed. There is also a JavaScript code for those people that are marketing a phone number only on their landing page. Placing this JavaScript instead of the actual phone number will look into your boberdoo system to make sure that you have a call buyer both for that time of day, geographic location, and campaign to make sure that there's an available buyer before that phone number is displayed. Otherwise, it just displays a transparent image. So those people that only sell calls during business hours or prime hours, this is a good way to still allow a lead to submit a web lead and for you to be able to earn some revenue from that lead as opposed to calling in at, say, 1 o'clock in the morning when there's no available buyers. So once we've set up the phone campaigns, that essentially defines everything that we're bringing into the system. So it could be different types of leads and what forms fields make up that lead, building a form, building a web campaign, and then finally setting up phone campaigns. The next thing we'll take a look at is who is sending us the leads or tracking and segmenting those incoming leads. That is done through a vendor source organization. So a vendor is going to be a third-party lead seller. It might be a marketing company that you outsource your paid search to. It might be a third-party bulk emailer. So if we go into one, there's several different options for you. So if your basic account settings, you can do rev sharing percentages for the whole account. We have different permissions that you can customize for their login. So you can display different reports as well as different pages, what lead they've sent. You can push your suppression files to them. There's the host and post manager, which is essentially the form builder sent to the vendor's login. And then those web campaigns that we had discussed earlier. There's filters that you can put into place on a lead type by lead type basis. So you can cap a particular vendor on a lead limit basis, daily or monthly. And then for leads that you want to be able to filter, for example, by state, those could then be built in to prevent those leads from specific states from entering the system. We also have some advanced settings allowing you to further customize what is seen or not seen by your vendor's login. So once the vendor is set up, the next level of organization source settings. So source is an important variable because it not only tells you where the lead came from, but it also tells the system what actions to take when a lead comes in from a particular source. And just bear with me here. Just going to try and mute these. There we go. Can we still hear me? All right. Sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure everybody could still hear me. So back onto these source settings. One important thing is that while one vendor can have multiple sources, each source can only have one vendor so that you don't run into risk in paying two different vendors for the same lead. For example, you might have an affiliate network and put up a paid search only offer that you're willing to pay $20 for, and then a display offer that you're only willing to pay $10 for example. This is going to allow you to segment those different types of traffic and then associate different costs and different actions. So at a high level here, you can see the sources are associated with different vendors. We have a manual review check, our lead QC, which is our optional scoring we'll cover in a minute. You can assign specific costs on a per lead or per call basis. How many partners the lead is sold. So in the case of web leads, you can sell leads non-exclusively and exclusively through the same lead type. And if you go into a particular source, you'll see there are about 30 different switches that can all be utilized to accept traffic from various lead sellers or vendors. So this is going to give you a lot of flexibility in dealing with those third party, giving you more leads that you're able to bring into your system. So we won't cover all of them. Some of them revolve around ping post. The takeaway here is that chances are if it's a unique situation, either our clients have faced it in the past or there's a switch already built in, allowing you to adjust how you're bringing those leads into the system. So that allows us to define, again, the vendor and source so that you know exactly who sent the leads and what actions the system should take when a lead from particular sources come in. So that is going to bring us to where are the leads going. So the leads in our system are sold to the partners. So partners are going to be a lead buyer, clients, agents. And here you're going to have a list of all of your lead buyers. You can use the filtering icons to drill down to find specific buyers by vertical, state, names, things of that nature. And we go into one that we have set up here. The first thing you'll notice is that there's several tabs across the top and on the left-hand side. These are all related to this one company. So again, giving a lot of flexibility and dealing with each client on a unique basis. So we won't cover all of them here, but I will point out some of the more important ones. The account information page is going to be where you determine the permission for this buyer's login and their account overall. Simple things like whether or not the account's active, whether they can change their own status and turn themselves on and off, whether they can add funds in their account, and then a lot that has to do with refunds. So refunds are handled in a variety of different ways by our clients, from bulk refunds to automatic approvals to a personal favorite of mine, which is instituting a refund percentage limit on a percentage basis over a certain period of time, so that you don't run the risk of a guy requesting refunds on 90% of their leads. So all of those can then be customized again on a client-by-client basis. And then you can also assign a sales rep to this account so that they can see this company in their login and touch them for reorders. And then also the commission reports are automatically calculated on a gross margin basis. So the next section that we're going to take a look at is the money portion of it. So a client needs three things in order to receive a lead. They need to have an active account, which we see right here. They need to have available funds. So that can be in the form of positive money. So you can do manual account operations for credits and charges right here. This is a line-by-line accounting for this client. So every lead they received is debited. Every credit or refund that you give is notated right here. And then in the Invoicing and Billing tab is where you determine the parameters, the payment parameters for this client. So you'll see here there's several options for you. You can set credit limits, allowing them to run negative. This will be used especially for your typical weekly or monthly invoicing. You can set credit limits on varying amount. We are integrated with authorized.net CIM for auto rebilling options. So that can be done on a time basis, every Monday for the previous 7 days, for example, or you can do it on a trigger basis. So every time fall below, say, $50, you want to automatically rebill them $500. You can do monthly reoccurring charges if you have a subscription or directory-based pricing. And then there's several checks that are available for those billing procedures. And then finally, there's also a revenue sharing model, allowing you to sell the lead at $0 and then get a CSV that you can upload from your lead buyer that would then retroactively apply a specific revenue per lead. If we take a look at automating your traditional weekly or monthly invoice, we have the Invoice Manager right here. It will allow you to send an email PDF with a detailed line-by-line invoice of the leads received, and then whether to include payments, credits, and things of that nature. So that is the second thing that a lead buyer needs in order to receive a lead, which is available funds. And that will bring us to the last thing that a lead buyer needs, and that is a filter set. So this is the most important page in the whole system because these are those custom business rules that define exactly what the lead buyer can purchase. So in here, you'll filter sets set up. You can set up multiple filter sets in multiple lead types, allowing you to get very granular in how you price and bill for your leads. So if we look at a web lead and we edit that filter, very similar to the source settings, there's about 20 or 30 different switches that you can use to customize the distribution for this particular client. So you have your lead price, how much they are paying per lead. You can assign specific sources or uncheck them if you don't want that traffic to go. You have your lead delivery options, so we can deliver leads in HTML, Excel, PDF, plain text. We can do SMS text messaging as an optional add-on. And then you'll see these specials. These specials represent custom deliveries to post the lead, for example, to your client's CRM, like a Velocify or a Salesforce account, or to your client's lead management system if you're selling to an aggregator or wholesaler. There is a wizard allowing you to build your own, or you can submit it to Boberdoo as custom work. Set that we'll jump down to here, matching priority. So everything defaults to a 5, and clients on the same priority just go into a round robin. But you can raise and lower the priority of specific filter sets to manipulate who gets first dibs at an incoming lead or call. As I mentioned, you can sell leads exclusively and non-exclusively, and then use this option to override whatever the source settings are. Then comes your caps, daily, weekly, and monthly. And then your lead scheduler, time of day, day of week. This we'll cover in a little bit more detail when we get to the calls. high level, again, you can create an actual schedule for lead delivery. And then finally, we come to any of the custom fields for this web lead that you determine when we're building the lead type. So if we take a basic state, for example, I want to receive all leads in Wisconsin, or just using a unsecured debt filtering option, maybe I only want leads that are 10,000 or more. So this allows us to then customize that that offer or this lead, and maybe we went to 15,000. So then in that case, those leads that are less than 15,000 would not be eligible to be sold to this specific filter set. Then we see like employed yes, no. That logic then be carried on into any specific fields, as well as more sophisticated options like LTVs and other ranges that you would want to be built into your system, all done on a custom one-off basis. So that is an example of a web lead, and now we take a look at this one as an inbound phone filter set. So again, very similar to the web leads, you can create a filter set or business rules that define exactly what calls this buyer can purchase. So it will start off and look very similar. Your lead price, how much you are charging per call, your client's DID or ring to number, how many concurrent calls they can take at the same time. You can charge an additional per minute fee. And we have duration or buffer. So this would allow you, for example, to put in a 30-second or 0.5-minute buffer or a 60-second, 1-minute buffer. This will allow the partner to speak on the phone for that amount of time, in this case 60 seconds, before the billing transaction takes place. So if they talk for 59, the call ends up being declined. If they talk for 60 seconds, that billing transaction occurs. You can then record the call. And then finally, what do you want to do if this lead buyer not pick up in this amount of time? So when this is select yes, as it is here, we will attempt to deliver the call for 60 seconds to this buyer, but if they do not pick up, it will then roll to the next available call buyer. You can also select no here and force the sale to the particular lead buyer. That would be used in the case of like proprietary campaigns if they're the only lead buyer that's available. And then you'll see the rest of these options will look exactly like the web lead. Your sources, your lead delivery, priority, exclusivity is ignored here because leads by definition or calls by definition are exclusive. And then the lead scheduler. So again, this allows you to build a schedule and then also an associated price. So for example, very common would be a weekday and a weekend setup. So if we set this up here, if you use 0, it's just going to use the price from the beginning of the filter set, in this case $20, but maybe they only want to pay, or they're only willing to pay $10 on Saturday and Sunday. You can then build all of that out in the filter set. When it comes to routing calls, you can route according to area code, the incoming area code. You can generate a list of area codes by state. You can plug in your own. There's also magic strings that are available. You can also route by the state itself in the case of US campaigns. And then the zip filter option down here is an example of a IVR that we can build for your particular phone campaigns. So those IVRs could be any decision tree. A very common one is the zip code. So instead of being connected directly with your lead buyer when the lead calls into the 800 number, it would prompt them and ask them for their zip code, and they would enter 53703. The system then would grab that zip code and route that geographically to the appropriate buyers. So very similar to the area code, you can upload a list of zip codes, you can use magic strings, or you can build a radius around a specific zip code. For example, maybe 30 miles, but I only want to stay in the same state. and we'll see here 84 zip codes that are populated. So that would be the only that are available to be sent to this buyer. And then finally we have campaigns. So you can then, just like with the web campaigns, you can select which ones are able to send calls to this particular buyer. One note here is that this is currently configured only for U.S. calls, but we can route calls internationally, meaning that you can generate a call from any country in the U.S. and route that to any other buyer in any other country. So the pricing is going to vary on those depending on the country codes and things of that nature, but that functionality is built into this system out of the box. So again, just to finish up the lead filter set side, we have multiple filter sets in multiple lead types, allowing you to be very granular how you price those leads to your buyers. That's going to bring us to where are the leads. So that is not surprisingly in the Leads tab. So the Leads tab is going to be a real-time view of your incoming leads. It's going to show you where the leads came from, where the leads went, and allow you to drill down into your lead flow. So up here you can filter by dates, and you can also use the filtering icon to drill down into any of the variables that make up the particular lead type. So in the one that we've been using, you could drill down by state, by to whom the lead was sold, debt amounts, basically any variable in the system. Now on this page itself, try to clear up a little room, you have your lead ID showing exactly what was submitted on the lead, and then several tools that are available. So you can process and reprocess leads that might have either gone unsold or unoptimized. We have a lead QC check. This is an internal scoring that I'll cover here in a little bit. You can add calls to leads to a internal do not call list if it was a bad lead or a robot, for example. You have your lead logs showing you exactly what happened on each lead. It can range from something as simple as the lead was submitted, we delivered the lead details in an HTML, and we see here, going back to those web campaigns, that it's fired a specific pixel based off of that submission. You can create follow-up tasks for leads if you're manually reviewing or qualifying them, and you can request refunds as well. All of these columns in the middle here, from the cost of the lead or the source, all the way through city here, can be customized by you to display the relevant information. And then most importantly is on the right here, what happened to the lead, who bought it. In this case, Buys Test Leads bought it for $35. You see it was successfully delivered. There's been no refunds requested on it. You can redeliver the leads and also view the matching filter sets. So again, this is where our clients spend a lot of the time seeing exactly the leads that are coming into their system. Now that was for the web demo lead type. And if we look at inbound phone routing, we see that it looks very similar. Again, all of these columns here through campaign name essentially state are the exact same as the web leads. And then you have the addition of the campaign, total duration. So this is going to be how long the call lasted. And then again on the right, the disposition. Who purchased the lead, how much. In this case, no matching partners found, so the lead went unmatched. And then the phone services tab, allowing you to listen to the call recording for each of those calls for quality assurance purposes. I'm going to make a little detour of the home improvement lead type just to show you an example of our lead QC. So when they light up, that means that they were checked. And if we look at a failure result, we'll see that the system scores the lead off the data points submitted and then comes up with an overall score that is either then rejected or accepted. So if it's accepted, it just follows your normal distribution rules. But in this case, it's rejected, meaning that it's held for manual review by you internally, and then you have the ability to approve it and process it or decline it. So you can see here we do a reverse phone, a reverse IP, reverse address lookups. So 555 caused this number to fail. We also do an MX record check, and then we have an internal bad words list and do not call list that are also checked. And then finally, we check the name to make sure both of them are found in the U.S. Census. So that is going to cover the Leads tab. Now we can take a look at some of the reporting options. So in our report section, again, you'll notice on the left-hand side the different lead types. There are different ones that are unique for each lead type, be it inbound phone, a regular real-time distribution, aged leads, or even ping post. And there are about 50 standard reports per lead type. So you'll see things like leads by source, leads by partner, profit report broken down several different ways. So maybe we take a look at a profit report by partner. And we see here that today bought only one lead. Maybe if we look for a longer reporting period, we'll see more. So then we see here we've bought $896 of leads on $115 cost. We paid out commissions, and then our gross profit over here on the right-hand side. So again, there are standard reports for each lead type that cover a lot of the aspects or needs of your reporting. And then you'll see like inbound phone, for example, is going to have ones for billable minutes, leads by hour, leads by state, so that, again, you can drill down and research your lead flow in more detail. That does not cover everybody's needs. We have a lot of clients that require us to build custom reports. So that can be done on a one-off basis for you. It's just a simple matter of defining the headers. We build it and place it into your system so that you can run them on demand. And then we have the time report section for those that want to automate the report creation. So if we go back into the lead type that we've been using, we see here we have one that's already set up. And the options are available. So you have all of your reports. You can determine the reporting period. You can email it or FTP it. You can determine when you want this report sent. Maybe every Monday, every day, only once a month. And then, in addition to when, there are magic strings that are available, which allow you to determine to whom the leads are going to be sent and only send their portion of that activity. So in the case of, let's call it a lead sales by partner report, you can then send the specific lead sales per partner or per buyer to only them all through this same single report. So we're going to go back to our agenda here. Take a look at a quick look at the other logins in the system. So as I mentioned before, you have levels of permissions for administrators, but we also have logins for lead sellers and lead buyers. So in the case of a lead seller or a vendor, we can go to their admin and see what they would see when they log in. Here you can see a breakdown of their activity, showing a high-level view of their inbound leads over time. So in this case, the demo lead type. And then all of these, again, are customized to you. So you have Your Leads tab, showing them what leads were matched, unmatched, declined. They can run various reports. You can push your suppression file to them in plain text or MD5. Very similar to your form builder, you can allow them to build out a host and post manager. And then the web campaigns are going to allow them to view the campaign information, download your creatives that you push to them, create links based off of what sources are available. And so they can use that then to market to your landing page. So that's the lead seller login. I'm going to go back down to partners and check out the lead buyers login. So clients that have their own CRM like a Velocify or Salesforce account probably don't use the lead buyer login a lot, but for those people that are selling directly to agents or contractors, this is this is a tool that you can offer as a value add to your lead buyers. So it's going to look very similar to your admin login. They see a high-level widget. They can log in, view their leads that they've received over time in each lead type. Built into each lead is some basic CRM functionality, so they can make notes on calls or emails. They can change their status and walk them through from close won to close loss. All of that gets recorded in the activities center and then updated on their status page so that they can drill down by their filtering options and work their leads more efficiently. More efficiently they can work leads. The more leads they buy from you, the happier everyone is. They can view their transaction settings. They can request refunds, again, if you allow it. So you would just determine the drop-down reasons that you want to allow for a refund, and then they could request them on a one-off basis. The settings tab, again, customizable by you, whether you want to allow them to turn their lead flow on and off, view or edit their filter sets. And then the add fund settings, again, is going to be dependent on the gateways that you set up. So you'll see here PayPal, Authorize.net, Pay Simple. You can push those gateways, allow them to come in and determine how much they want to buy. All of this then would API the transaction merchant account, so we do not participate. It's just an API. It will get automatically credited to their balance so that they can purchase leads. We do have a cherry picker. This would allow you to push leads so that your buyers come here and select what we would refer to as an aged lead on a one-off basis. So they can come here, select, add those to their shopping cart, and then get the lead details sent to them automatically. So this allows you in the back end to age out those leads at different price points, display only partial information about the lead, not the contact info, obviously, to the buyers before they purchase the lead, so they can get essentially a preview of it. They contact you directly, and then they also have a calendar that allows them to schedule tasks and events. So again, it is a basic login, but it is a nice value add. We do have clients that will use it as an upsell opportunity and charge, $25 a month for management, something along that lines. And so the last thing that we're going to come to are some of the bells and whistles. So down here in the tools and logs, it's a self-serve platform. So we try to be as transparent as possible and provide you with as much information as we can so that you can troubleshoot lead sellers, lead buyers, and dig into exactly what happened. So you have your various lead logs, lead failures, lead successes, to whom the leads were sold. We have system logs. We have lead rejects. So again, this would allow you to take a look at all of the leads that were attempted to but did not make it, and see why. We have an internal bad words and do not call list. So a bad words filter would allow you to capture and hold any of those leads that commonly curse words, spam, things of that nature, and prevent that from being distributed to your buyers. And very similarly with the do not call list, you can upload those. So this, I want to stress, is an internal do not call list. It is not hooked up with any state or federal databases. It's just something that you can internally manage. So we're almost done here. We're going to finish up where we started in the Settings tab. So we do have a full suite of APIs available. There are about 50 of them built standard into your system. Things for creating new partners, creating new vendors, filter sets, getting lead details that can be used to push and pull information to and from the system. This is also another example of customization that we do for our buyers, or for our clients, where we can build APIs based off of your specific needs. And then lastly, we're going to finish up in the Notification Manager. So this is built around trigger events. There are about 50 of them that are built into your system. Some of them are meant for internal distribution, new client sign up, refund requests, things of that nature. And then some of them can be used for things like auto responding to a lead. So if we take the event new lead matched and we go to the back end of this, we can then determine to whom this email is sent. So partners, sales reps, vendors, leads. And then each notification has a magic string that you can use to build off of. So this one particularly would auto-respond to the lead with their dynamic matching part information. So this would show them exactly who's buying the lead so that they know who's going to be contacting them to service their request. Probably don't have to mention this, but it is also a good opportunity for a cross-offer. So it's an HTML editor, meaning you could build a banner ad just like Amazon. People that were interested in this lead type or submitted inquiries in this vertical were also interested in that vertical, and then drive them right back to another landing page so that you can capture them in your boberdoo system and sell that cross lead. So that is going to conclude what I wanted to get through at a pretty high level here today. I think now is a good time to open it up for any questions. I'll just say again, I wanted to cover things at a fairly broad basis so that we can get that out of the way and have conversations on how the system would specifically address your business's needs at the appropriate time. So I probably have to take you off of mute. All right. So does anybody have any questions right off the bat? And if there's already somebody talking, feel free to Skype or instant message any questions across as well. So the question is it okay to ask ABT pricing? About pricing. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So we do have standard pricing. It is based off of whether or not you have a light or a pro system. It basically ranges from 10 cents per minute all the way down to 6 cents per minute. Some things to note on that pricing. It does cover 2 legs of the call, so there is and sometimes more. So there is the initial call from the lead into the boberdoo system, and then from the boberdoo system to the partner. And so we can discuss, those levels breakdown. Basically, the 6 cents is on a prepaid basis. The first level is a 30,000 minute block, and then it moves to whatever your monthly average is. And those blocks do not expire. What other questions can I answer? So the system itself, I'll just pull up the pricing page. Again, it's going to depend on the levels that you want. The calls are an optional add-on to the base system that we covered today. So the primary differences between Lite and Pro are branding, some more initial hand-holding and training, as well as some included custom work. And the big thing is a discounted programming custom rate. But the monthly lease is the same for both Lite and Pro. So it starts at $575 per month. That is for up to 1,500 web leads per day. So calls, because they are an optional add-on, are not considered into in that mix. So this is just an overview. I'm more than happy to answer questions. Usually those are probably on a one-off basis.
Who do you consider your competitors?
Well, we compete with different clients or different products on different levels. Most of the people that offer both web leads and calls are through some sort of partnership. I think one of the primary advantages is that with the Boberdoo system is that your web leads and calls follow that same routing logic, so that there's very rarely discrepancies in between the billing processes. They are using those same. That being said, we compete with like Cake and ClickPoint on the web lead routing and distribution, although I would say, especially when you get into ping post and non-exclusive leads, that one, we have more sophisticated customization options that are available. Little plug here, Friday I'll be giving a very similar demo, but focusing more on the ping post aspects of things. So depending on your verticals, we can do shared legs, we can do scenarios to make sure you're maximizing your revenue per lead, things of that nature. On the calls, ring revenue, there are a plethora of call tracking softwares that are popping up. I would say just kind of a note on that is that oftentimes one large client that might not pay their bills, which is an unfortunate reality in the lead industry, could send those companies right out of business. But it also lacks the routing options as opposed to just a call forwarding. So if you're selling, if you're running a more generic vertical, generating a call in a specific, that could be in one of many places, it could be sold to many different clients, that's where those business rules and the filter sets really shine.
Do your reports allow you to kind of attribute web data back to sources like successful leads and things like that?
Could you repeat that question? Sorry.
Sure. Does your system allow you to, I guess there's a way to upload revenue from successful leads, is that right?
Yeah, so for clients you can do a revenue sharing, so that would essentially sell those calls to them at $0, and then they would be able to give or give you a CSV that you would then upload a specific revenue on a per lead basis. So if you wanted to tie that back to the vendor or lead seller, you would be able to assign both of the lead buyer and then the lead seller on a revenue share basis. So from the vendor section, we have the rev sharing percentage right here. So if you were going to give them 25% revenue earned from their leads, you could enter that there, and then as you uploaded those revenues from the partner side in their revenue sharing, it would automatically update their reports and reflect 25% of that revenue. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, that was the first half of it, and I guess the second half is once you've, let's say, uploaded revenue and you can see kind of what's working, is there a way to attribute it to, specific landing pages or specific keywords or other things like that so that you can actually kind of track your ROI?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can go back into the lead types tab and take a look. So in the posting specs, you'll see here we have some internal fields like source, landing pages, variable, sub-ID, and sub-ID. Those can be carried, that logic can be carried along. We can build in UTM term, UTM content, source, and so on, so that you can bring in that data with the web lead submission and then run either custom or standard reports depending on what variables you're using. So there's pub ID and sub ID state reports. If you were to bring in the UTM terms, we'd probably build a custom report so that you can tease out that information.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Whoompa. So, what other questions can I answer for people? Well, all right. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so we will end this call. I thank you again for joining. I do hope that you have some time this Friday to check out the ping post options. I'll be sending a recording of this demo along as soon as it's processed. But if you do have questions that you didn't maybe want to ask to the entire group, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can set it up and, again, drill down into how boberdoo would address your specific use case scenarios. So thank you again for joining me, and I wish you all the best on the rest of your day.